Yeah. Okay. So the situation is like this. If I can conclude for a while, that the research done by the scientists in UGM uh, is different from the other. It's different. It's not genetic engineering. So we have to be very careful when we mention about that. And they already did trial in Jogja with, I think, 77% is a huge number. But the other things also, what say that the community leaders, they are have their culture and they are in conformity with the nature, and there is no enough explanation from this. Even the technology, let's say the technology is good, no side effect, but if the people is ignorant about that, I think it's a matter of to convey the safety of this. In that sense, then the question from Jock become relevant. Ibu Adi, maybe you can help us if there's any human impact, health impact, if it is the mosquito bite a human being, Bu. Maybe you can educate a little bit.
Maybe Pak Warsito has.
Pak Barsito atau
Because
Pak?
we are doing it on dengue. In Yogyakarta, because we don't have Zika, so we only look at the impact on
Mosquito.
dengue. On the human, on dengue and chikungunya in human. But chikungunya also, there's not much of a cases that, so we only concluded for dengue. So that was the study in Jogja. And you're talking about the impact on the human's health, right? So our outcome, primary outcome is dengue infection. And this is done by serological tests. So that's I think I'm trying to speak based on the evidence that we have from the study. So I'm not assuming, I'm not using other evidence. I'm just using the evidence that we have from this Wolbachia study in Jogja. Pak Warsito, please.
Yeah, I think it's thank you very much for we tested as well for the impact of the Wolbachia on the human health. So because in Yogyakarta, what you call that, the mosquito actually fitted by human. And then on the early release, when we did
on the safety, you mean on the safety of Wolbachia for human,
And we what you call it, voluntary from the community, we withdraw the blood, and when we tested the antibody, what you call it, that probably what you call it, to respond the Wolbachia, and then totally from the hundreds sample that we take it from the community, and then also take it from the human. That is like for me actually, I feed it mosquito from 2012, and then what you call it, on the research they take it my blood and then tested the antibody, and then so far there is no antibody that suspected as the response of the what you call that Wolbachia. That is already published as well, and then I already put on the link. In terms of the Wolbachia, actually, as the Prof. Uut mentioned, there are two approaches. One approach is actually for the population replacement, and the second approach is actually in the population reduction. So what French talk is about, mostly is about what you call that population reduction. So they release the male, because in the male there is the Wolbachia causes the cytoplasmic incompatibility, where male with Wolbachia, when mating with a female without Wolbachia, that the eggs is actually fertile, what you call it, sterile. So they cannot become the larvae. So, and that's why this technology actually use it in Singapore and some area in other country. So they release the male, expected that the male with Wolbachia will mating with the female without Wolbachia, and then the population will be drop. So we expected that population drop will cause the drop of the case as well. But in Yogyakarta, under the WMP approach, we not concerned about the population. We concerned about the capacity of the Wolbachia to block the dengue virus inside of the body of the mosquito. So we released the male and female have because what you call it, Wolbachia actually heredited to the generation. So we with one time of release about 6 months, and then Wolbachia frequency will increase, and in the same level, in the same level, they will maintain by themselves to increase by themselves. So we talk about the capacity of the Wolbachia to block. So we replace, we change the population with previously we thought Wolbachia become the ITS-50 with Wolbachia. So I think we have to be careful to look which one is actually we want to discuss in this. We want to review in this kind of the discussion. I think I agree with Adi Uttarani, but and totally in Indonesia with what we done in Yogyakarta and in Bali as well, we release eggs. Conscious male and female, because we want to the change, not the change, but the replace of the population that previously without Wolbachia become the population with Wolbachia.
Thank you,
Richard. Can I add few things,
Yes,
Richard?
Sure, everybody.
I'm aware of time, so.
No, it's okay, bro. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah,
bro.
so I'm not staying long in this webinar. Just two things. I hear that perhaps there's a concern, but that there is that there needs to be more information shared to the public, right?
Yeah.
And when talking about the public, what you specifically mentioned is about Bali.
Yeah.
Now, I would really suggest, please talk to the people who is doing it in Bali. So Dr. Chok, for example, you're not just talking to the community, but please have a discussion with the implementers in Bali. And perhaps you would like to say, okay, this is already done. And perhaps you could say, this needs to be done more in Bali so that the people will have more information about the technology, and so that what's happening in their lives, they know what's the knowledge, and then how are they going to implement that. So I would really encourage, please talk to the implementers there, rather than, we are trying to understand something, but I saw, also a lot of WhatsApp messages to the public, which is also confusing the public, because then you are sort of assuming that Wolbachia is genetic modification, which is not. So, that's one suggestion. Second, if you are curious about the science, which, this is what the scientists do, we communicate and we talk to each other, we explain, then that is something that we often do also. Pak Warsito also speaks in a lot of discussion, a lot of webinars, but let's keep it in that way. We could provide for you, we could even present what's the evidence with all the questions that you have. But what I'm saying is that there are two things here. One, yes, maybe there's a need for the community in Bali to know more about this technology. So please talk to the implementers. And then secondly, if you want to know about the scientists, there's also a scientist behind this in Yogyakarta. If this is related to what we did in Yogyakarta, we are very happy to share. Also the papers, perhaps in some other discussion where we could present the evidence to you if you want to know. But the risk analysis, I can give the contact person, because this is done by IPB, Pak Richard.
Yeah, very
by
good.
Prof. Dami. So there we can have a really scientific discussion, and not much based on assumptions and those things. So that's what I'm going to say. And thank you for having this, Pak Richard. And I cannot stay long, but I'm sorry.
It's okay, Bu. But you
yeah.
summarized very well, Bu.
Yeah.
You summarized very well.
Thank you, Pak Ibu.
So the situation is like this. We have to consider Bali is a very special place in Indonesia, because there are a lot of foreigners here, and this can create panics among them. And if this create panics, and people in Bali will suffer, as we know that the income of the people is most from tourism. And you can imagine if they release this, the implementer release this in November, there will be drop of tourism. Yeah. So maybe if they want to implement another area in Indonesia, maybe that's fine because there is no foreigner. So me also, I still work with the government. I just think that we have to think over about this to release this in Bali, not because we are doubt about the good faith of the UGM and government Indonesia. Not we don't doubt about the good faith of that, but if it is good, it's okay. But we have to really consider all aspects, the budaya, the culture, and so on. And if one fire is released about panic, nobody will come to Bali. And if you don't come to Bali, the effect will be change effect. Even you have a good faith, and then will come to the government, to UGM, to all scientists here. Dr. Pachok, your comments before I give to Pak Warsito. Thank you, Ibu Adi Utarini. Very nice of you.